the general's darling. My name is Taohua. I was born in a chaotic era. My life is worthless as grass and weeds. My father was addicted to gambling and opium in the end. He sold me to the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce for a sack of rice and half a silver dollar, sending me off to curry favor with King Yanbei, the warlord who had just seized control of the city. Rumors had it that he killed people like flies, brutal and bloodthirsty. The girls sent along with him burst into tears from sheer fright. But I remained strangely calm. My adoptive mother had taught me, only by being as resilient and flexible as wild grass can one survive in this world. Inside the Kinmention's courtyard, the aide announced loudly. The door swung open, and a man emerged, his upper body bare, wrapped in bandages. He was strikingly handsome, with the delicate features of a young nobleman, not at all like the bloodthirsty warlord he was rumored to be. His gaze swept lightly over everyone, lingering briefly on me before moving on. Just as the Chamber of Commerce chairman was about to step forward and flatter him, Kanyen Bai suddenly drew his gun and fired a single shot, killing the man instantly. The young women screamed and collapsed. While he said in a cold voice, "I don't play along with this kind of nonsense, send the body back." As soon as the words were spoken, the gun was pointed at me. The bold one stayed behind. How could I possibly be bold? I was just so petrified that I even forgot to scream. As long as I can stick with him, it's still better than going back and letting others trample on me. As soon as I stepped into the room, I saw first minus aid supplies laid out on the table. I instinctively moved forward, intending to change his bandages. He suddenly grabbed my wrist, his expression somewhere between a smile and a smirk. "You're here to take care of me, not to climb into bed with me." I winced in pain and said timidly, "I just want to change your dressing." He loosened his grip, letting me remove the blood-stained gauze. The gunshot wound on his shoulder was gruesome, but I forced myself to keep my hands from trembling as I carefully cleaned and bandaged it. He glanced at the bow tied and chuckled softly. "You're surprisingly meticulous. Doesn't hurt a bit, does it?" I reached for the mess, intending to step back, but he suddenly pulled me into his arms. The items scattered all over the floor, and I found myself forced to sit on his lap, afraid of disturbing his wound. I didn't dare to struggle. Instead, I just timidly gazed up at him. He let out a low chuckle and carried me onto the bed. "It's such a pity you've ended up as a maid." I hastily reached out to hold him back. "You're injured, this isn't appropriate." A smile deepened in his eyes as he turned over and lay down. "You're so soft and thoughtful, I'd never want to let you go." I silently undid my clothes. It's always better to serve one person than to become the plaything of the crowd. That night, his wound burst open. The female medic Hoyan King rushed over her gaze filled with contempt and warning. "If Commander King keeps acting recklessly, the wound won't be salvageable anymore. And as for this woman whose background is completely unclear, who knows if she's clean or not? She was the daughter of his father's closest friend, and the two had been betrothed since childhood." Yet Kanyan Bai, with his easygoing nature, simply agreed without standing up for me. A chill crept into my heart. After all, in his eyes, I was no different from a woman of the pleasure quarters. After she left, Kanyan Bai, I gently pinched my tense face and explained softly, "I don't ask for any official status, I just yearn for a quiet, peaceful corner of my own." After that, I stayed by his side, tending to his daily needs during the day and warming his bed for him at night. He said my body smelled softly and sweetly, and he slept especially soundly when I was near. Once his wounds had healed, he took me along with the army as we moved from place to place. During the day, I cared for the wounded in the rear, and at night, I stayed by his side. Hoyan King constantly targeted me, calling me a fox spirit. The soldiers around me also felt that I had ruined their good matches, but I didn't care at all. Deep down, I knew that Kanyen Bai, I was never as brutal as the rumors claimed. He drove out the invaders, wiped out local tyrants, banned opium, shut down gambling dens, and helped women who'd been forced into prostitution find redemption and a better life. He was originally a scholar, but he laid down his pen and took up arms to save the country. He gave me the name Yunzi, saying it was fitting for someone as pure and fragrant as I am. At night, Hed hold me close, talking about ideals for our nation and our home. His eyes shone with both hope for our future and with love for me. Once deeply moved, he said Hed take me back home with him. But I just took it as sweet talk. My adoptive mother had told me that a man's words couldn't be trusted. To ease his stress from the war, I stepped onto the stage and began to sing. But, unexpectedly, it drew some lewd teasing from the men in the audience. Kenya NBA's face instantly turned grim. He yanked me into a private box and kissed me fiercely, saying, "You're only allowed to sing for me." Soon after, he took me back to my hometown together with Oyen King. The once minus grandkin mansion now had only an elderly housekeeper left. Kenyan I lost his composure and rushed upstairs, followed closely by gunshots and chaos. I hurriedly followed, only to find the room in complete disarray. The old housekeeper, tears streaming down her face, revealed the truth. Outside the city, invaders had forced the wealthy merchant to take drugs. The Kin family refused to flee. The elderly couple had already died of cold and starvation. Their eldest son had gone missing, and the eldest daughter minus law had become addicted, scraping by day just to stay alive. My sister minus law was having a difficult labor, so I stepped forward to assist with the delivery. Drawing on my previous experience, Oyen King tried every possible way to obstruct me, but Kenyan I sharply barked, "Listen to Yunji." But the child was born with deformities and showed no sign of life, clearly the result of long-term opium addiction. My sister minus law, unable to bear the humiliation any longer, hanged herself that very night. The Kin family fell into ruin, and all their loved ones perished. Kenyan I pulled me tightly into his arms, his body trembling uncontrollably. Oyen King burst into tears and threw herself into his arms, confessing that she was utterly alone and had no one to turn to. Kenyan I didn't push her away. Instead, he simply said to me in a calm tone, "Yunzi, I have to take care of her." I forced myself to appear mature and nodded, deliberately distancing myself from him from that moment on and never stepping into his room again. And King took the opportunity to urge me to leave, exposing my humble past. "You were born in Liuxiang in the first place. You shouldn't have relied on men, let alone harmed us," I whispered. "I'm giving it to Yan. His life is his own." In Yan I was right behind him, his tone filled with disappointment. "Then now, I'll set you free." My face turned deathly pale. After all, I was still abandoned. In these chaotic times, making a living was incredibly difficult. I eked out a meager existence by washing clothes for others. In the depths of winter, my hands were so soaked and blistered that they nearly fell apart. The master of the household, seeing how beautiful I was, began to make lewd advances toward me. When I rejected his overtures, he resorted to beating and kicking me. In a moment of crisis, Kanyan Bi appeared, kicked the man aside with one swift kick, and his eyes blazing with crimson fury scooped me up into his arms and left the city that very night. Oyen King chased after him, furious and distraught. "You risk your safety just for her?" Kanyan Bi held me tightly in his arms. "I never once thought about marrying you. How could we possibly share the same husband?" As the battle intensified and the A-D- camp was killed in action, Oyen King blamed me for everything and slapped me hard. Kenyan I sharply pushed her away, saying in a stern voice, "If you dare to bully her again, don't blame me for being merciless." She stormed off in a huff, and Kenyan I broke off their engagement, determined to hold the city and fend off the enemy. Wounded badly, he held me close one night as he made his final arrangements. "If I die in battle, you'll send you away, find a good man and live a peaceful life." I buried my face in his chest and wept. "As long as you live, it'll be your wife. When you die, it'll become your ghost, waiting only for you to marry me." He promised in a hoarse voice, "If I survive, I'll marry you." The next morning, I dressed and bandaged his wounds, and he smiled, saying, "Wait for me to come back." But after that trip, I never saw him again. The city fell, and the invaders laid waste to it. I survived among the corpses, searching day and night for his figure. Finally, at a mass grave outside the city walls, I found him cold and lifeless, with an exquisite dagger plunged into his heart, delivering the fatal blow in one swift strike. A sudden burst of bright light illuminated the scene, and Doyoung King's voice rang out. I knew she'd come. The newly appointed warlord Yujun scooped me up in his arms, wearing a cocky grin. A woman of Kinyanbi, truly exceptional. I saw clearly Ouyang King had colluded with him. It was she who stabbed him in the back, causing Kaida NBA's death. To take revenge, I put aside all my sorrow and resumed the tactics my adoptive mother had taught me, gently flattering and ingratiating myself with Yujun. Soon enough, he became utterly obsessed with me and began to despise the formerly aloof Ouyang King. I pretended to be meek and submissive, sowed discord, and managed to make Yujun utterly despise Ouyang King. In the end, Ouyang King was thrown into the military camp, subjected to endless humiliation, and finally dashed her head against the wall. Dying in utter despair. After dealing with Ouyang King, I once again tricked Yujun by telling him that Kinyanbi I had left behind a stash of treasure that could help him make a comeback. Believing me implicitly, Yujun set off alone, falling right into the trap it laid for him. Soon after, he was captured by the enemy forces and beheaded in public. Having finally avenged my great enemy, I returned to the countryside with Kinyanbi's ashes. Before his grave, I planted rows of gardenias and inscribed the words, "The tomb of the Kin couple." From then on, there were no longer humble peach blossoms in this world, only Kinyanbi is Yunzhi. I stand guard by his tombstone, year after year, never to part.